Welcome back to The Perspective. We're still talking to Chappy Hakim, Persons of the Year for Globe Asia, CEOs to watch in 2017. Why do you think you made the list, Chappy?
I don't know. It's surprising me as well. I think it's for fun. I don't know. I don't know
Well,
actually
I think
to become the cover.
It's got to do very much with what we call 2017 is a year where leaders are to be responsive of the current situation, and also making responsible decisions. So, in light of your new pursuit, perhaps maybe you can share with us a little bit about the kind of leader you know you will be and you were, and how is this going to affect the industry that you're currently in?
Leadership. That's very interesting. Many people talking about leadership. Many definitions about leadership.
Right, correct.
But actually, leadership is very simple things. But Jokowi said leadership is influence.
Right.
That's all.
That's all there is to it?
That's all. And how to influence, you have to give the example.
Right. So leadership is leading by example.
That's the big responsibility about that. If
Yeah.
you cannot do a good example, maybe you will be fail. Why? Because you have to control yourself first before you try to control your people. That's very basic. So that's kind of leadership. If we talk about leadership in correlation about the responsibility or response, they have a lot of things. So depend on where you are. Because in military and in civilian it's much different. It's things about the style and about the command and control line, of course. But basically, back to the definition of the leadership is the influence people. So how you can influence people, you have to give an example. And how example is control yourself first. Yeah. That's the simple way how to describe the leadership for me.
Yeah. And how would you've been through many presidents now in Indonesia, and how do you see this transformation of leadership? Would you say that the country, we were in dire need, we had what they call leadership crisis a couple of years ago, whereby we were in a disarray, where we need someone who make the shots and call the shots, and then we have Jokowi, we have SBY, we have Habibie, we have Megawati, we have you've experienced throughout these leaders. How do you see the transformation between the quality of leaders between these head of states here in the country?
Yeah, to be honest to say, if we're talking about the quality of the president, we're talking about the politics. I'm very sorry, I don't like to say
let's just focus,
politics.
No, let's not focus on the politics.
Politics is like playing golf, you know. They have a lot of power,
good analogy.
With no direction. Sorry to say that, but
it's fine.
But that's a joke. Yeah. Back to the president. We are as Indonesian, so we have to have the full respect with our first president, because that's the effort of the young people there in that era, so that we become independent. But in our journey from our first or our early independent day until now, we have a lot of things in basically how to manage democracy, something that some people said democracy or whatever. What is interesting if you're talking about democracy, right now, the United States people as well, they're talking, oh, is that democracy?
Democracy,
yeah.
The big question on what democracy is.
That's right. And many of researchers about the government system, they're looking for the democracy system, and opposite of that, but authoritarian. Which one better? Which one best? I don't know, but I agree with the some of researchers said that any kind of democracy you have to put on your culture, your original culture.
That has to be based on that culture.
That's right. Once we forget the culture, and we got difficulties about to setting up the system of our government in a way to going to democracy system.
Would you say that's what's it's reflected in what's happening today, and that
Yeah.
our failure to understand unity in diversity,
That's right.
Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, and that we've.
That's right. We have Pancasila. We have a lot of code of conduct that to follow, but actually, that's not too easy to implement it.
Right.
Yeah. We talk maybe every day about Pancasila, but where's Pancasila in implementation? That's a big question mark. And we're facing a lot of things during our independence until today. Back to the leadership as a influence and give an example. We are on the nowadays we got our president that's give the good example in the sense of he appear truth, he appear honestly, he appear with the family that start with the very common people, and he start with approach all the people like he's the common people as well.
He's part of us. He's one of us.
That's the most important thing. That's much different with the previous president, and that's the big point. And I do believe this kind of style of the our president now, it's a good things that we have to support. Why? Because the people have already tired with many ways that our president managed this country going to our final destination to have the prosperity and security. And by the style of Jokowi, I think it's more or maybe much easier to approach a lot of people to say what the truth, to say what it is.
Because they feel he speaks their language.
Yeah, there's not hiding anything. They talk always the truth, and he doesn't speak a lot of flowery word. And
no sugarcoating things and situations.
That's right. That's a very common people.
But I'm also curious now that let's zoom in into the capital a little bit. I think you know the direction of my question is: what is your view of what is happening at the moment with? As we are facing our gubernatorial election in a few weeks, and the rise of hardliners in Indonesia in the name of democracy, wanting to be able to express how they feel about the current administration, defamation, the religious defamation case, blasphemy. What's your view on this?
I think this situation is we have go through in. We are on the traveling now to the best that all the people want, but to go to that destination, we have go through the road like this, because in every step, I think we learn a lot. We have to got the learning process to become the real democracy that we want, that all the people want to do. And the situation, moreover with the technology, with the media, social media, and whatever, we can avoid this situation like this. Maybe better we entering this situation to become we're more wise, we more know each other,
more mature democracy.
That's right, more mature than in every aspect, especially how to choose the leader.
And the public is criticizing on how the government, the Indonesian government at large, is handling the situation. Would you, if you were part of the government, would have handled this any differently?
I know it's not a simple things that to organize that. That's a lot of difficulties. That's why once I retired, I decided myself, I take a rest. You know why? Because it's a big challenge to go through in the situation like this as a government, and especially in our system, you can see how fighting in the Parliament House, how the opinion of public opinion influencing any kind of government policy. That's very hard. And some of my friends, they're going to the politics. They're going to the party, national party or whatever. And many people influence me to go there as well, but
There's absolutely no interest for you to go into that
not at all. Not
realm at all? But you've made your choice clear of going into the private sector.
Yeah, because once you go to the politics, you have to mastering in what you said.
Political maneuvering.
There's more than that. You have to have your attitude like the film star. You appear the other face, and the other way you can say in the morning yes, and you have to say no in the afternoon.
Things can change
and then
in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. It's not my way
really
of thinking. That's not my life.
Fair enough. So we'll talk more about Chappy Hakim about his musicality and more after the break on The Perspective.